It's reminiscent of a Frankenstein being resurrected. Like a lab.
You watched a completely different Frankenstein than the one I'm familiar with. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and this is Ray.
Hello, how you doing?
Coming to us from our nights. And once again, if you don't remember, check out the link down below in the description for all of your sci-fi, western, war movie needs.
And no action movies.
I think that just falls into the same category, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel it would.
I mean, it's hard to have a war movie with no action.
Yeah, but then you have action movies that have no war.
Fair.
Maybe like crime. More, I think the last thing was like crime action movies.
Well, I mean, the last movie I can think of that to advertise, I guess, that you guys did without being either sci-fi or western, that was just pure action, was what, The Raid? Or was it The Raid 2?
Yeah, The Raid and The Raid 2, yeah. Very fun. If you haven't seen that movie, oof, excellent act. If you're into action, especially fast-paced action, John Wickish type action, I recommend those two movies. Really good.
I don't think I've ever seen them. I know I've seen plenty of movies that are like inspired by The Raid, although name's not coming to me.
I'll let you know though, it's very brutal. Both movies are very brutal, very gory, and body parts go flying left and right. It's excellent.
Actually, I think the only thing coming to my head is the hallway scene from Old Boy. I believe often gets compared to The Raid.
I still haven't seen Old Boy. I know about it. I still haven't seen that movie. But yeah, I believe I can see, because I've seen bits of the hallway scene with the guy with the hammer and like 50 guys in there. So yeah. Way over the top. It's actually, but it's fun.
Hell, and then the recent Punisher stuff gets compared to both The Raid and Old Boy. So
the last Punisher stuff was the last movie that was out for the Punisher was very brutal.
No, I'm talking about the show. Yeah. I think the
Berman. The show. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, but I won't say it's on par with the movie. At least not with Raid.
Well, I think it's the prison escape, isn't that what they usually talk about?
Yeah, but that's Daredevil though. That wasn't Daredevil.
Oh, I thought that was in
the Punisher. It is the Punisher, but it's in the Daredevil.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched the Daredevil show, nor have I watched the Punisher show. So.
Dude, you should do yourself a favor.
Well, my problem...
Maybe not the Punisher, but Daredevil probably.
I've watched The Defenders, which was Daredevil, Iron Fist...
Luke Cage,
and what's her name?
Jessica Jones.
Yeah. I watched that because I liked Jessica Jones and... well, actually, I'll be honest, I didn't watch Jessica Jones. I liked Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Wait, no, was it Luke Cage? What the hell did I see? Yeah, no, it was Luke Cage. Yeah, she was in Luke Cage, and I liked her in Luke Cage, and I really liked Luke Cage. I did not watch Iron Fist because Iron Fist was just getting horrible reviews all over the place about the fighting not being accurate and whatnot.
I watched maybe 2 episodes and I bailed. I gave it a chance, and I couldn't. It wasn't on par, at least for me, with what I saw with Luke Cage, what I saw with Jessica Jones, and what I saw with Daredevil. You know,
and again, I just wasn't interested in Daredevil either.
But you should watch Daredevil. Daredevil was probably it's top-notch TV. I highly recommend it.
I want to say that most of my contact with the Marvel Universe, outside of the new Marvel stuff, like when it comes to comics, I have read everything from the inception of Deadpool up until 2019. I read all of Deadpool. Even Agent X, which is a fat clone of Deadpool. So, he doesn't start fat. Something happens to him, and then he becomes fat, and it's its own joke sort of thing. I have read, essentially to the end of Marvel Now, which is where Deadpool dies when 2 different Earths collide with one another, and he is like one of the last people left on Earth to die to it, because everyone else goes somewhere else. I would know where they went, but I only was reading Deadpool. So in that, I get a lot of, Deadpool has a bunch of stories where he's like back in time in other people's stories where he doesn't actually appear, but it's like he was there is the point of those comics.
Okay. Well, I've really haven't read comic books in a while until recently. I just picked up the. I don't know if I told you about this. The Spider is a crossover between Spider-Man versus the Predator, and I just had to get that. As soon as I knew that was out there, I said,
Predator
"Yeah, I'm gonna
crosses
have to."
over with a lot of people. That's what
Yeah,
I think
so
we were covering in the Discord.
yeah. So yeah, and I liked it. I like it's like the what ifs. I don't know if you ever read in the what if comics. I found it very interesting back in the day.
The what?
It's like what if.
What
It
if?
was like
Sorry, I
the
was
what if
hearing
series. Yeah.
Waldorfs. I was like,
No, no, no.
that's a real Richie Heidi Toity.
No, but
I used to
what
live in
if?
Waldorf.
Did you?
Yeah, Waldorf, Maryland.
Mm. Well, I did like the what if quite a bit. So the turn of history, the when you have collaborations like this with Spider-Man and the Predator. When I read Dark Horse Comics had a series where it was Terminator versus um,
RoboCop.
RoboCop, and I mean, for some reason it just calls my attention when I see stuff like that. You know, it's like when the Punisher fought Batman, and Batman fought who else did he fight? He fought some other Marvel. When DC and Marvel get together,
There
I
was
do like it
two
as well.
different crossovers between
Yeah.
Marvel and DC. The big ones back when they were doing it themselves. Back before the creation of the Amalgamation Universe, if you ever heard of that. That's the
And that
one
was that.
where that I guess it's a spin-off of the crossover universes, where the two different characters become one character.
Oh.
So there's like a Batman Wolverine character that is, I can't remember their name, but essentially it's Batman and Wolverine. Both of their power sets together, they're one character. They are in one
Alright.
universe.
No, see, like I said, I haven't read. If that happened anywhere from 2000 to 2024, I didn't read any of it. But I think that's a big chunk of time that I just stopped reading comic books.
Amalgamation Universe. I just want to see if I can figure a name, some names for characters. The Justice League Avengers.
Just
Current
Avengers.
members are Dark Claw, Captain Marvel, Goliath, Canary, Hawkeye, Red Vision. Dark Claw must be the Batman Wolverine guy. Logan Wayne is the Dark Claw.
Logan Wayne.
Bruce Wayne, Logan
That's
being
cool.
his name.
I'll probably read that. That's not what I'm reading.
So yeah, Dark Claw, and some of these are just like Captain Marvel. Of course, you have Shazam has to be right.
That's Shazam.
William Marvell, Billy Marvel. Yeah, they do. They're not up enough just to say, hey, it's a combination of two people. He looks like Green Lantern though, so I guess it's Marvel from Marvel and Green Lantern, but it's clearly Billy Batson.
Huh.
All right, well, whatever. You get the point.
I get the point.
All right. Let's see. As always, though, we come back with a board and some notes. So let's go ahead and start with the board. All right. And with the board comes the board changelog, where I change the green line connecting Ashram to Puritest to purple. I connected Puritest to Wagnard with a green line. I connected Lelia to Slain with a green line. I connected Puritest to Deedlit, Parn, and the Orson Shiris party line with a red line. I turned the white line between Shiris and Orson's party and our main party to green. Connected Shooting Star to Ashram, Puritest, and the Shiris/Orson party, Parn, Deedlit, and Kashu, red. Or I connected them with a red line, rather. I added Balos to the Spirits listing. I added Shaddam and connected him to Parn, Deedlit, and the Orson Shiris party line, and Kashu with a green line. I added Mairi, God of War, new god in our listing. Connected Slain to Ness with a green line. Marked Shooting Star dead. Marked Puritest dead. made a green line from Sheerus to Parn and included a purple arrow on it. Turned the green line from Slain to Lelia purple. Connected Carla to Wagnard with a white line. Connected Wagnard to Ashram with a white line. Connected Wagnard to Deedlit and Parn with a red line. And then I added Lelia to the party. And those are our updates from the last 3 episodes.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Oh, this board's come a long way.
I mean, it's going to finish up soon. All right, any commentary about the board?
I'm trying to remember of the romance between Lelia and Slain. Is that what that's there for?
Well, if there's a purple line of any sort, then yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember the scene that made that seem that way.
I remember it very much seemed implied. I should also add, it's been a while since the last time you and I recorded together, so we're a bit separated from our memory of what might have been there. That's why the note section...
a couple, 2 weeks or 3 weeks since we've seen it?
Yeah, something like that. That's why the note section is always helpful. Yeah. I'm hoping, since it's also been I think a week since I wrote my notes, hoping there might be a reminder in there about the Slain Lelia thing.
Yeah, because that's the only part that seems like, wow, I don't remember that. And if it was implied, maybe it was lightly implied, and I missed it.
I don't know. If it's lightly implied, usually it goes over my head too, but it's enough that I put an arrow, a line there.
Yeah, it's got to be a reason why you put it there. So something you must have re-seen when you resaw it.
One would hope.
So I'm looking forward to the notes on that.
All right, well then to the notes.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting that in episode 9, when we look back at Marmo, and the narrator claims that the island has been pitched back into chaos following the death of Beld and the loss of the control spells keeping the monsters in line, that everything looks exactly like it did when we first saw it in the earlier episodes when Beld was still there. There is legitimately no visual difference between an orderly Marmo and a chaotic Marmo.
Could it be that when we first saw it, it looked chaotic, but they were under control, as opposed to now that he's dead? And I wonder, do you think the sword was holding everybody somewhat under control? If that's the case,
it doesn't say where the control spells came from. And honestly, if I'm going to be legitimate about this, I think the reason there's no visual difference between an orderly Marmo and a chaotic Marmo is because we're just reusing shots.
Yeah. Especially at this point, the story wasn't finished, I think it was. That was the case where they didn't finish the anime because it was, or the Red did take a different direction?
Yeah. The story that they were telling wasn't done. So they just, Game of Thrones it.
Yeah, they Game of Thrones it. And they probably, at this point, they're probably under some time constraint.
That, I don't know. I don't know about that one, but I know this is what they did.
Yep.
All right.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle that in the other series.
Yeah. The completed one, the one that's also more than double the length.
Yeah.
Puritas, in talking to Wagnard, suggests that he is talking about a sacrifice, referring to a conversation in progress we are just hearing the end of. Wagnard says, "So young a ruler in Lodoss is no match for the power which slumbers beneath the earth." So a young ruler? Of the rulers that are left, that we've met, my only guess would have to be Fianna, Fawn's daughter, who seems to have taken up the queen role after his death. Except Wagnard then starts talking about needing to sacrifice a high elf to call forth the bottomless power of Cardis. That would suggest that Deedlit, the only high elf we know, is actually a leader of her people. Despite never having seen another high elf in the show so far, Puritas later says that she has a reputation as a stuck-up princess, I guess solidifying that suggestion.
That makes a lot of sense, I guess. Because if she is the leader of her people, but she's not wisdom, she's here the whole time.
There could be a suggestion that what do I have it labeled? Kingdom of the Fairy? Could be If you believe like the Forest of No Return could be part of the Kingdom of the Fairy, then it could be that the elves live in a space not of our space.
Like a different plane of existence?
Well, if you're familiar with like Fae mythology,
Yeah.
like the Isles and whatnot, it's a place that time works differently and whatnot. So why not have a race that can be immortal? Could also be from a place where time doesn't work the same.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that could be exactly what they're suggesting then at this point. But it's funny that if she is the leader of her people, and then we haven't seen any of these high elves, like you and I would never have made that assumption.
Well,
if
yeah,
she didn't
we
bring it
have
up.
to work with the things that other characters are saying.
Yeah.
I mean, the same way, there was never another dwarf other than Gim, except for that one dwarf from the old adventuring party that we never saw, except on a tapestry.
Yeah.
Wagnard calls Shooting Star a demon dragon. Ashram wields the demon sword. It seemed like Beld had control of Nars, the black dragon, through holding the sword. It could be possible that there is some conflation of the terms demon and dragon in the setting.
Okay. But now that sword is with Ashram.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna? I'm thinking could it be something like Lord of the Rings, just a connection between the item and Saruman, not Saruman, Sauron. Maybe the sword is that had that type of connection with the
Nars.
dragon. No.
I don't know. I'm putting three things together. Again, Wagnard calls Shooting Star a demon dragon. Ashram wields the demon sword, which has had control over a dragon. Assumedly, I guess. So if A equals B and B equals C, does A equal C?
Yeah. That'd be a very interesting point to see. If they bring it back up.
Yeah, I mean...
And that was brought up in episode 9?
Yeah. Usually when I do notes sections with lessons, lessons I have decided goes first when we do our lesson. When we do our notes, because lessons puts his in episodic order. They'll say, okay, here's my notes for episode 9, because typically we'll do the same thing where we'll do multiple episode notes in once.
Gotcha.
So he'll go, episode 9, these are my notes. Episode 10, these are my notes. My notes are just everything. So, it's not for nothing. Sometimes I'll go to, say, this is 9 through 11. I'll hit, at the end of episode 11, scroll up and add some note to the episode 9 things I took. It's a mix mash.
Gotcha.
I want to say this could be from episode 9. Who's to say? Certainly not me.
Only because you started the notes thing was in episode 9 we learned this, so I thought it might have been that chunk. What you give me now, I thought it was a chunk of
No, I'm saying
9.
it probably is.
Yeah.
It probably is. Probably being the vocal word.
I thought you intentionally put it like that. Okay.
Me from a week ago probably knows that guy died in the memory space that current me actively lives in. Wagnard also suggests that the Scepter of Domination was entrusted with the Scepter of by... That doesn't make any sense. Sorry, apparently past me also didn't know how to write a sentence. I'm just going to read this as I wrote it, and you can blame past me while current me is going to sit free off to the side. Wagnard also suggests the Scepter of Domination was entrusted with the scepter by the Ancient Kingdom, but doesn't suggest what ancient kingdom this was. I'm assuming what I meant to say is that the Scepter of Domination wasn't... Somebody was entrusted, probably the Demon Dragon, Shooting Star, was entrusted with the Scepter of Domination by the Ancient Kingdom. That makes the most sense to me here in the present. The oldest kingdom I could think that we are aware of is either Castul, Kingdom of Sorcery, the Kingdom of Stone, or the Realm of the Fairies. Wagnard is very unspecific about which kingdom this is. We know Castul, Kingdom of Sorcery, was from 500 years ago. Assumedly, the dwarves would have been on from a long time ago as well, so Kingdom of Stone is on the list. Apparently, elves are somewhat immortal, so Realm of the Fairies is also on the list as what the ancient kingdom might be.
And the ancient kingdom gave the scepter?
Yeah. Scepter of Domination was entrusted to, I believe, this is what Past Me is trying to say, Shooting Star.
I want to, if I was to take a guess, I would say it would be the Kingdom of Sorcery. And I say that only because if we're giving out an artifact, maybe there's something there. They probably have powerful items like this.
Why wouldn't the Fae have powerful items? Why wouldn't the dwarves have powerful items? I mean, well, I understand that magic isn't usually associated with the dwarves, but they are capable of master craftsmanship.
But I'm thinking more in the sense of Spartan, right? You got Sparta. Every country, every known civilization has their war factory, but Spartans have like this focus completely on this. They'll be out there probably better than anybody else at war. So I'm going to assume that his sorcery, who's giving out such an important artifact, I'm just using that logic that probably they will have more, maybe because the word sorcery is enough, it's just giving me the fact, making me imagine that they're probably super powerful, probably have all types of magical items, especially artifacts, and they probably will come out from them. But at the same time, we don't know.
See, everything that you're saying, Realm of the Fairies.
Yeah.
You're saying that because they're the kingdom of sorcery. It seems to me.
If we go off of D-Det, right? D-Det, where would you classify this scepter? Because this scepter is, I would think that D-Det and the fairies are more into maybe more natural forms of magic.
You say that, but D-Let's clearly wearing chainmail.
It could be elven chainmail.
Which is still chainmail.
Chainmail.
There's no way of getting around it. She's wearing metal. So clearly someone's working metal for the elves.
She's a princess, though. So maybe something that's
literally we have no comparison.
She's a princess on the road.
We have no comparison to any other elf, as you've already stated, or any other high elf rather. We have the dark elves, but so we can't use D-Lit as a point of comparison. She is a singular one.
I don't know then.
I'm just saying an ancient kingdom of immortals seems to be just as likely to have artifacts as literally the Kingdom of Sorcery has to be human, right?
Does it though?
It's a kingdom in Lodoss, which makes it in a realm filled with humans. Unless Deal's going to come around this episode and say, yeah, we high elves, we all used to live in Castul until the place got burnt down, and be like, oh, okay, that's proof, never mind. But then again, was she the last princess of Castul? You'd think that, not Lelia, Carta would have said something about that. Oh, it's you, princess. No, she didn't reference D-Lit at all.
Yeah, I think no one knows D-Lit here at all.
Well, I'm saying that if we know Carta is from Castul, that if D-Lit is the princess of Castul, one of the last surviving people, then why would Carta not mention her once? I'm thinking Carta. I mean Carla. Sorry, I'm very zoomed out on the board.
Yeah, well. And who has the scepter now?
Wagnard, I want to say.
Wagnard, okay.
Yeah, no. The end of last episode, that one guy who I didn't add to the board because he doesn't have a name or anything, who was there with Ashram and party looking all suspicious in the background, took it after Ashram and company died, except Ashram didn't die, brought it back to Wagnard, and Wagnard does his whole summoning of Cardus thing, which I think kills that guy, and that's when he goes off and kidnaps D-Lit. With the dark lightning bolt through the sky.
Gotcha.
2 weeks ago, still in my memory.
Good for you, brother.
All right.
I don't remember that sharp.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this is all I do. It's an odd juxtaposition that King Kashu repeatedly says that Parn isn't ready for battle due to his recklessness and hesitation in training. Yet they want us to think that he's done well in his previous training by bringing him to the battlefield and having his having him succeed in his fighting against the armies of Marmo. It's jarring to have both things be true.
Yeah.
He was there
That's,
fighting against the armies of Marmo, and then later, Kinkashu says, "You're not ready to fight."
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's unless Cashew may know something about a future event or something that might be coming down.
Why would he?
Why would he say what he said?
I think it's easier to explain a person being dumb than it is to explain them having future knowledge.
Do you think Cashew's being okay?
Well, I'm saying, I don't know, he's being dumb. Maybe he's being concerning. I don't want you there, Parn, because you might die. You know, it could be any number of reasons. It's easier to explain someone saying something weird just for it being a weird thing that they said than it is to say, oh, actually, no, he's got this fortune seller in the back telling him everything that's going to happen. But hell, for all we know, what's his name? Wart? Wart is constantly giving off future stuff in the background without us ever him. You know, he could be talking to Wart. Wart did warn us about something. I can't remember what it is now, but he said something worse was going to happen. You know, moments before Fawn and Beld died. Something worse is supposed to happen, and it hasn't happened yet.
Do you think Cashew may... No, I don't think so. I don't think he'll be just being protective. Even if he knew Parn's father, and out of courtesy or friendship with Parn's father, and I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would, especially now that they need fighters. So I don't know why he would even say what he said. So yeah.
Did he know Parn's father?
That's the thing. I think there was a reference there that he said that he knew his father.
We just checked the board real quick. Tassius has 3 connections. One's to Fawn, the other's to Fianna, and of course one's to Parn. So no, I don't have any connection between Kashu and Tassius. See, that's where the board comes in handy.
Yeah.
Someone out there is going to point out, no, you just forgot. Ah, fuck. All right. Well, Deedlit gives us the difference between the episode 1 Green Dragon and Shooting Star. Shooting Star is an ancient dragon, I guess implying that the 5 we see in the opening are the ancient dragons, as well as implying that the green dragon that they defeated was a younger dragon.
That makes sense because they seem to have defeated him very easily.
Also, the massive size difference.
Yeah.
Like, feels like the green dragon could swallow them in the same way that, you know, you could throw an entire biscuit in your mouth and try and swallow it. Yeah. Versus, feels like these guys were like the size of Shooting Star's teeth. I didn't pick up on this in episode 9, but Deedlit mentions that it's been a long time since the party had been together, essentially telling us that a time skip has happened again, which in hindsight I guess makes sense. Time for Ashram and company to return to Marmo, for Lelia to go through the training to wear the robes of Marfa, whatever Slane is doing.
I wonder how much of a time gap we're talking about, though.
I mean, one that only implies the things. One that only implies the things that I just said. But, you know, I guess the biggest thing is, as I said, time for Ashram and company to return to Marmo. They basically, Game of Thrones, teleport their way to Lodoss the first time we see them. So we have no context about the time span. I guess, technically, what's our priest's name again?
Oh my god.
He's in the bottom right-hand corner.
Ito.
Sorry, I just was trying to avoid zooming in again since I gotta be camera for the board. However long it took Ito to get his robes is presumably how long the time skip has been for, since it was time enough for Lelia to get her robes. I guess Slane and Parn became masters of the Force while we weren't watching. Despite being a country away, Slane feels the distress of people being attacked by Shooting Star. Similarly, Parn can feel Deedlit is in danger and charges out of the castle to her location in the woods based on this feeling.
So you think of that because of what they achieved, that title they got? You think that's how they're getting that feeling?
No,
What?
I think it's writer's convenience. But as I said, sarcastically, they've become masters with the Force. You've seen Obi-Wan, as though
I
a
sure
great
have.
many people cried out in distress and were
A
instantly
horrible feeling.
silenced. Yeah, well, same thing. Slane feels it for the people being attacked by Shooting Star. Parn feels it for Deedlit, both from locations where they would have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Did it? Yeah, no. That all happened in episode 9, you said?
I did not.
Oh, you didn't say.
I assume. I haven't referenced episode 10 yet, so...
Okay.
Apparently the game being played that the anime is based on is first edition AD&D, where elves have a 90% magic resistance to sleep and charm spells, but not an immunity. So Deedlit having sleep cast on her and it working is just contrary to what we know from future editions, and just shows that Deedlit had an unlucky roll.
That makes a lot of sense. 90%, that's a lot, and still got for sleep.
Yeah, that's just sleep and charm. It's not a blanket 90% magic immunity. Something that is confusing is that when people regard Wagnard and he invokes the red light in his eyes, they say Cardis. Both Carla and Deedlit have done it so far. The confusing bit for me is that it seems like Wagnard's plan is to resurrect Cardis. So how can he also be Cardis? Is the idea that Cardis is inside Wagnard? If so, how does that work? With Carla, we know she's occupying body after body for the last 500 years. If Wagnard is holding Cardis inside him, where has he been for the last 1,000 years?
And has he been jumping from body to body?
God, I wish you'd watch Quantum Leap.
Miss some point.
No, it's just basically the opening of Quantum Leap is he's leaping from body to body until he can find his way home. You're essentially just saying the Quantum Leap opening without any context to what Quantum Leap is.
You know, for a long time, what was confusing Quantum Leap was Twin Peaks.
I've never watched Twin Peaks. I've watched a gameplay of Deadly Premonition, which is set in the world of Twin Peaks, I believe.
Yeah, really?
Same creator, but I assume it's the same world. Same convoluted storylines as far as I'm aware. Sorry, fighting the urge to go on about what Quantum Leap is about. So, Shadam, in talking about the legend of the Dragon Slayer, mentioned 3 lances possessed by Mirai, the god of war. Except that we then get shown and told that the priests are forging the lances. If the lances are supposed to be special because the god of war owned them, then they cannot be things that you create yourself. Those lances would just be ordinary lances, replicas even, lacking the property that would make them the lances have any power. Again, being owned by the god themselves.
But they're being forged right now?
Yes, it's a thing we had a whole conversation about. Again, the idea that the lances are special because the god owned them, right? It's like having a sliver of the cross, right? It's special because it's the cross that crucified Jesus.
Gotcha.
You can have a sliver of any cross. That doesn't make that sliver special. Right? You know, when we're talking about, like, Tales from the Crypt universe, right? Slaying a demon or whatnot. You know, I've got the blood of Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm just assuming you've seen the movie Demon Knight.
Demon Knight?
Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
Maybe. I've seen The Exorcist.
Yeah, that's not the same. Demon Knight has a character who's carrying a vial around with him, and he every so often has to, like, cut himself to put more blood in the vial. Because the idea is that the vial actually held some of Jesus's blood, like the Roman soldier, like, put some in a vial. And the only way to keep it, like, around is to keep putting blood into it. because that's the one weapon that works against demons from hell.
Okay. Are these lances supposed to be like what takes out the dragons? It's not like Dragonlance stars.
That's the thing. That's the thing that they made, and they came back and stabbed Shooting Star in the face with.
Yep.
But the impetus that I'm coming with here is that the things that made the lances special was that it was the God of War that owned them. You know, the difference of me selling you a Barry Bonds baseball bat versus a baseball bat that looks like the one Barry Bonds held.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The thing that makes the baseball bat more expensive is that Barry Bonds used and owned it. So the things that should make the lances special is that the God of War used and owned them. If you just make lances that looks like the one the God of War had, then
he's just making a replica.
Yeah, that means any lance could have hurt Shooting Star. Deedlit, seeing being given a flower as a romantic gesture, runs contrary to everything that she's done so far. Don't slash at the trees, they're alive. Worms' lives are as important as people's lives. I guess she just has something against flowers. Kill them all you want by pulling them up from the ground. That or she likes Parn more than the lives of flowers, so the gesture is more meaningful to her than the plant that she killed.
But she's also been around humans for a while. Maybe
Sorry, that is a laughable conjecture that you're throwing out there. Parn swung at a tree, and she's like, no, stop, what are you doing? And maybe like a couple of episodes ago, she proffered that worms' lives are just as important as people's lives. So, what? In a week, maybe a year, if it's inside the time skip, she's completely 180'd on her opinions?
Well, it's Parn.
That's what I said. She fucking hates flowers. So among plant life that she's willing to sacrifice, this flower from Parn.
But I wonder, do you think she would act differently if it was Etolf that gave her a flower?
I mean, that would be weird either way.
That would be weird, but I wonder still though if it's a thing that she's doing just for Parn because she's in love with him, or she's.
To be fair, I think this falls into the conception. This falls into the conception of the lawful stupid paladin. Because if she was that way, she couldn't walk through the forest. She'd be stepping on grass all over the place. Every dead blade of grass should be a problem for her, right? How does the paladin walk through a battlefield of dead soldiers and not bury every one of them?
Yeah, but she will also be mad about going to a wooden house, or getting on a boat or anything like that that uses these resources.
Yeah, one thinks that maybe they should have thought about that before she argued at Parn for swinging a sword at a tree.
Yeah.
Because none of this makes sense in hindsight. It reads as literally she's being played by a D&D player. Somebody who thought of something once and then never thought about it again.
And never brought up again, yeah. That actually makes the most sense. That makes the most sense.
I have no idea why Carla implies that Cardis would submit to the scepter of domination. The dragon really didn't, as it seemed to be chomping at the bit to get at Ashram, even breathe fire at him while he was holding it. I'd have to think a god would have more control than a dragon.
I will have to agree with you in that sense.
Let's see here. New country mentioned for the first time, Raiden, where Shaddam is going to carry a message while Parn carries one to Moss. I guess Raiden must be somewhere to the west, considering that it's had little to no interaction with the war, meaning that it must have been far enough from danger to just never have been brought up before. We heard from Shiris that they are a free city with no leader that doesn't care about other kingdoms. So that at least explains why they've been uninvolved.
But we haven't met anything from anybody from that place yet. And you think it's from the west?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, it could be the west.
It wouldn't make sense to be from the east because all the eastern kingdoms fell to Marmo's invasion to the point that the kingdom north of Valus was threatened. So the only kingdoms that could be left that we could talk to have to be on the west side, or maybe northwest side. But I would think that since they were so uninvolved with everything, they didn't feel threatened by Marmo's invasion, so they must not have been anywhere near whatever kingdom that is above Valis.
Well, let's see if that exists, or is this one of those convenient writing escapes or mechanisms.
Well, I mean, I don't think it matters anymore either.
Yeah.
Because, Parn gave the message to Shiras to pass on while he went to deal with Delitz being kidnapped. So, unless we see Shiras go there, we're probably not going to see it. Legend has it that Cardis still sleeps beneath Marmo. I don't know, man. I've watched 11 episodes now, and every episode starts with the legend of how Cardis is dead. Then again, y'all pray to dead gods and invoke their names to cast magic spells, so I can't even start guessing at how any of this works. Maybe Carla... Go ahead.
No, this is we've brought it up before for that same reason, because there must be some power, or maybe some residual power, I guess, if you pray to a dead god.
Well, more I'm pointing out the hypocrisy. A character says that legend has it that Cardis still sleeps beneath Marmo. Literally every episode starts with the legend of how the gods are dead. So how do you have these two different legends? But anyway, maybe Carlo was introduced to us to get us used to the idea of a person putting their consciousness into an object or a thing, so that later we could have that same idea be used in greater scale. We know Nars, the Black Dragon, is beneath Marmo. Maybe Cardis put their mind into the dragon when they died. We've seen Wagnard having flashes to the dragon when he talks about Cardis, and we previously suspected that the dragon was just tricking him. But maybe that's the thing. Beld with the sword was controlling the dragon, but Wagnard was trying to subvert that by awakening Narcissus' mind, and Cardis in it?
That's the mystery for real, because it feels like they're going to bring Cardis back to life somehow. And we got to find out they need to have a way to do so. I mean, and it might be just this.
It's either that, or that's going to be the end of this series. That he's going to try to, and then the heroes are going to be successful in stopping him, and that's the end. I mean, that would be the natural end of a campaign, it feels like.
Yeah, the big the climactic scenes.
Yep. It seems like they all need. It seems like they all need is a high elf. So why Deedlit specifically? Are there no other high elves in all of Lodoss? If so, what does that imply? That high elves are from the main continent and didn't migrate? Or that they don't leave the fairy realm? Or is Deedlit the last of the high elves, in the same way we don't see dwarves anymore since Gim died?
That would be interesting if she's the last of the high elves.
Well, that doesn't make sense either, even though I wrote it. That doesn't make sense either from the perspective of Deedlit getting upset. You can't tell the difference between dark elves and high elves. Because it very much feels like if you're saying that, then there must be other high elves that you could compare dark elves to.
Yeah.
Because if there's only one high elf left, then yeah, of course I couldn't. You're the only elves I've ever seen.
Unless she's saying it to protect herself. And not giving out that information that she's the last of her kind.
I don't know. I'm just saying, it raises more questions than it answers.
Yeah, it does.
Final note. When Wagnard shows up to kidnap Deedlit, he says, "Soon you shall call me God." And Deedlit calls him Cardis, leading me back to my previous question of if he is Cardis yet or not. Multiple people see Cardis in him, yet he still seems to be seeking to become Cardis still. More than that, though, the thing that seems odd to me is that when Wagnard is casting a spell, he is invoking the spirit of Balos. If he was Cardis, wouldn't he have the power himself to do magic without invoking anything? It seems odd that a god would ask a spirit to do something. As we previously discussed, they invoke the dead gods for power to cast magic spells. So, Wagnard, soon you shall call me a god. Deedlit calls him Cardis, the god's name. So, is he Cardis or is he not? If he is Cardis and people invoke him for magic power, why would then he invoke Balos, a spirit, for magic power when he should be the source of magic itself? I don't think the DM did enough world building before he started the campaign.
I think you're right.
I don't think he was prepared from my notes and board.
Do you think, though, that there is a difference in today's world building as compared to what it was back then?
Yeah, I think today we have more resources and less DMs willing to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, because at least back then, I'm assuming, I'm thinking that back then, in terms of resources, in terms of world building, it probably wasn't as much as there is today.
No, back then you showed up with a folder filled with papers and all your notes and stuff. I'm just saying that these days we have all these online resources for keeping track of your world building and maps and whatnot.
Yeah, so because of that, maybe this world building is just, it's not as uniform as we have it today. Like today we have a certain way, we have a knowledge of what D&D magic is supposed to work like. As opposed to back then when we're still getting fresh into the game in terms of creating a world, in terms of understanding how the world works, especially since the first edition, as opposed to like a 5th edition world and the way we act towards it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Am I talking about my answer?
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying about expectations. I just don't know that the expectation of what we believe, like, again, going back to like the expectation we had about elves and sleep spells. We have a certain expectation today, but I'm not thinking that back then, like Greyhawk, God, I can't think of the name of, Bastira for one thing,
Bastira.
But Sword Coast is on, what's the setting name? Faerun, Greyhawk, that all comes from specific people's campaign. Blackstone. God, same person who made Greyhawk, actually. They all come from these specific DMs' campaigns. So to suggest that they don't have the world building skills to do the things that we expect today, obviously is untrue.
They were here, but they were here though. We're talking about in Japan. How much of this stuff was available in Japan?
Well, it's not about how much is available. It's about how creative they got with it. They're clearly making up their own world, is what I'm saying. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's the fact that it's their world, it's their magic, and there's a lot of plot holes in it because of it.
I'm not gonna put that to that though, because there are lots of Japanese novels and whatnot that don't take place in the real world. So clearly they are capable of making up their own stories and their own worlds and whatnot. So there's no reason to suggest that the introduction of the RPG...
That's not what I'm suggesting, though. I know they have that, but I'm wondering if they're trying to keep it to D&D as opposed to... You know what? I'm not even sure if I'm saying what I'm saying even makes sense, to be honest with you. There was no Matt Mercers back then, that's what I'm trying to say, where the stories flow a lot easier than they do now.
That is supposition now. That's my entire point. That is just supposition. We don't know. There could have been a Japanese Matt Mercer back in the 80s. Would have been no recording, right? So
yeah.
I guess the best recording would be the multiple anime series. Matt Mercer's only got one. How much did this guy get?
That's true.
All right. Well, final thoughts before we actually get into an episode.
No. Looking forward to it. I really need to see what happens with Ragnar. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, how are they going to pull this off? I
thought you were going to say Wood. I thought you were going to really find out what really happens to Wood, since I know how much you like that character.
I do.
Oh, that's right. I don't know why I'm buying into this. I already forgot. You know how this ends. All right. Well, with nothing left, then let's go ahead and hop on in. Though. Let's hop on in and see how this goes.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Who'd have guessed? I
I was
legit don't
expecting you to say
remember if
that.
that's my joke. I don't remember if that's the joke I've been making, but I'm gonna go with it.
No, I appreciate it. If you didn't say it, I would have been upset.
Well, that's the thing. I don't remember that's the thing I've been saying. I was like, oh, was it who'd have guessed or who'd have thunk it or
Who
go figure or
I think it's who to dunk it.
yeah, in 2 weeks I don't remember what the bit is.
Been a busy 2 weeks.
I will miss the opening. Not the thing we just watched. This bit. Yeah.
I do love this part, this opening.
I mean, I'm just not gonna say I love it. It's not one of the many anime openings that gets stuck in my head.
I mean, with the amount you see, you see a lot more than I do.
Yeah, no, I would say this is probably top 10%, but I wouldn't say it's like top 1%. Like, I would say top 1% has a quality I would only attribute to shows like DuckTales. It's not about quality of the show, it's about earworm of the song, yeah.
Mm.
We all know DuckTales. Anyone who was live in the 90s and experienced DuckTales knows the theme song to their dying day.
I can go to my old buddies and just start the song off, and they will all finish it up with me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could go to like name that tune, and someone goes woo, and you're like, oh, that's I got that in one beat, one note. It's also just reading the lyrics pretty good. 2 episodes left. 4 out of 5 dragons remain. You've seen it 3 times. Not once has it been soaked in blood. Well, to be fair, from what we know, Marmo was created after Martha's death. At some point off screen, we stripped her down and redressed her. Egyptian garb. So maybe this is the implication of why it did nothing for Ashram. It needed this whole sacrifice thing, and Wagner just didn't say anything about it.
He's have the. This is the turning on switch. That's cool.
So they can teleport? Why didn't they just teleport to get the scepter?
Excuse me when I pass by you here real quick.
Yeah, I thought this was our floor, but I guess it wasn't.
It's not a floor.
Remember, Parn's not ready, says Kashu. Also, the spell was supposed to be broken in these guys, so they shouldn't be fighting as a group. They should just be randomly attacking stuff.
It should be chaotic.
Gonna put everything on a most likely. Okay, if this is Kashu and gang, then how did Parn get here ahead of them?
Is it casual? It is casual.
Yeah. How did Parn get here? Teleportation.
から元気の一つも出ないのが情けないんだ。しかし何としてでも邪神復活は阻止せねばならん。負ければロードス。
Behind us, yes. We also have no conception that Wagnard and Cardus would be stronger than Carla. Carla made fire tornadoes and lightning that just killed random people and woke up all the dragons. I also don't remember Carla ever praying to anybody for magical power. She just had it.
No, she hasn't.
Whereas Wagnard, with Cardus, prays to other spirits. It's DM's rule. If you put your players on a ship, they gotta get attacked by something in the water.
Yeah, it makes sense.
The whole section of the monster manual you don't get to use unless this happens.
This battle is lost. I don't think you will.
Well, they got other ships. They can abandon this one, get on another one.
Oh, there goes the flying
Prince
the baby
Jester.
dragons.
No, and Shearus and Orston.
They did make it back. I wasn't sure they're gonna make it back or not.
I don't know that they got there. Prince Jester is from Moss. They were supposed to be heading to Raiden. Somebody else was supposed to be heading to Moss, I thought. You know, in case he didn't get that he might actually have feelings for her, even though she has feelings for Parn. We only have one episode left to drill it in.
I originally thought they were like a brother-sister team.
Yeah. Well, I think that's maybe what the implication is, that Shearus believes Orston is like a brother to her.
Mm.
Well, there you go. Answer your question about the sword controlling these guys. I still don't get him dropping Piratus's little emblem thing on the ground. Seemed like he cared, and was like, oh, no, don't care. So I guess maybe the dragon is anything. The dragon is just guarding the entrance to this place.
No, he did a good job of it. Unless the scepter was like the free pass.
Well, I just mean he's like 100 stories up from here. He didn't even come down with them.
He didn't.
I do not know what we're doing.
Was that her life force?
I'm pretty sure I saw that in a Jason movie.
A Jason movie?
Yeah, when Jason goes to hell and the worm crawls out of him and crawls into somebody else. And then,
does it really? I never seen the movie.
Oh, you might remember that Lodoss isn't the only place you can live. There's the main continent, which is even bigger. All these goblins have the same fashion designer.
Clean?
Has to be.
Yep.
He says as his two friends look backwards. Okay, but legit, only one of these is in Marmo.
からめ、何が歴史の天秤じゃ。何が力の均衡じゃ。
One, Wagnard is doing this, not Carla. Two, Wart is Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
まさかスレイン、これは一体。
カーディスの容器が漏れている。おそらく儀式はあの地下で。
ディド
Okay, we know Slain can cast a hover spell because he did it on wood in episode 1. So they could just jump down the hole and Slain could cast a spell on them and they slow fall the entire way.
あの中にバーンが。
待て。
Up comes Nars from the depths. Has a real
The big boy.
Night on the Witch Mountain vibe to it.
ナースが現れたということは。
Weird. He's got wings and two like little vestigial arms.
I'm not crazy about the design either.
我が杖に宿る
I mean, I like it without the arms.
力よ。
Yeah, without the arms, like I expected to be without the arms.
こんな風になっているとは。
まるでファラリスの体内でカーディスが眠っていたようです。
カーディスは暗黒神ファラリスの配下の一人。狂気と破壊を司る神です。かつてロードスが大陸の一部から切り離されるとき、深い眠りについたと伝えられています。
No, they say she died.
Died.
We get reminded at the beginning of every episode.
あれはカーディスが目覚めようとしているのです。多分儀式が。
ディド
There's a difference between awakening and being resurrected.
We're still going down.
I'm about to say, how deep is this?
I thought the city, the necropolis, was gonna be the thing.
I mean, at this point, they're not going to stop him.
I mean, to be fair, I guess this does fit old school dungeon design. A place your players would never get to under their own power, ever.
の永遠の命を吸収し尽くした時こそ、全ての戒めが解かれ、古の強大な力が蘇る。
Again, they just teleport. If you can teleport, just teleport.
Yeah, why are we taking a long time to go down?
人破壊を司る邪神カーディスよ。古より伝えられし名役にして、我が召喚に応じよ。
Also, was this rod made before or after they died? Because it was made before they died. They planned to die the whole time? Or...
I would. It'll make sense if it was after.
I mean, if it was made after, that might have been the reason for the Kingdom of Sorcery to have made it. Because it explains then why people would have destroyed the Kingdom of Sorcery for them maybe trying to have done this.
What the hell?
Oh no, the only people that could teleport.
It's reminiscent of Frankenstein being resurrected. Like a lab.
You watched a completely different Frankenstein than the one I'm familiar with.
Green slime.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, first guess be an ooze or a slime.
気をつけろバーン。分かっている。
But as I said before, they could just jump. Slain has hover spells and levitation spells and whatnot. We've seen it. Nope, guess it was a roper.
Dear Lord.
Pretty gruesome roper. You can tell by how completely ineffective it was against Parn's sword. And here at the very end, we've made every woman in the show a damsel in distress. Thank God Lelia spent that year training.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, didn't have a note about it, but yeah, here we are.
There you go.
Now Eto has to fall in love with that other princess that I put that purple arrow for. Prove every relationship. I'm sorry. Is there a omnipotent overgod? Because it seems like he was just praying to the creator of all things. Lost our budget for drawing Jester's face, I guess. Here's hoping that wasn't Jester. Oh, they did have a dragon.
Dope.
So we've gotten names for 4 out of the 5 dragons so far. So you got the blue one from Lelia's place. Myson, Narse, Shooting Star, 5th dragon, still yet unaccounted for. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, you killed the leaders of 2 of the human realms.
このままカーディスの復活を見守るか言ったはずだロードスを滅亡から救うために私はいると
I guess you gotta be a real fanatic. Not for the dissolving thing, to be the other 2 guys that are left, knowing that's what's coming for me.
Yeah, that...
Oh, not that guy, though. I mean, it's exactly his point. Your power's not enough to control the gods. Well, thankfully, I'm not the one who has to control it. Cardis is. I mean, the god? You may defeat me in combat, but I think I've won the moral victory here.
He was very... I mean, they went down very deep.
Yeah, center of the earth deep. Land of the lost deep.
For real.
Ironically, I think this is the thing that Ashram was fighting with his sword when he was practicing like 2 episodes ago. Ashram won. Also, can Ashram teleport? How did he get down there?
ここは僕に任せて行くんだバンバカなハリスよ神聖なる力を奴らには剣より祈りだ心配ないだから
Remember, Edo is just an initiate.
But this is like
A
definitely
novate.
unholy.
A novate,
Yeah,
rather.
行ってくれバン早くしないとディードは
Unless he got ranked up in that year of time skip.
何のためにここまで来たんだディードを救うことがロードスを救うことになるんだ
Legitimately, at the end of every episode, Harn says that he will save Lodoss, or he protect the peace of Lodoss, even if it
Whatever
costs
the
him his
cost.
life. What even is this thing? The ghost of a Balrog?
This is our Gandalf and Balrog moment.
まだ生き恥を晒したいかマーモもロードスも貴様のおもちゃではない
Yeah, but he killed the guy who was standing on that pillar, so there is no sacrifice there.
わしの望みは力だ神の力を手に入れた最初の魔術師となった
I mean, I guess my
Good
guy,
point.
either my guy's gonna die down here or he's not. Legitimately, this shouldn't be working. You're one sacrifice down, unless all those guys died for no reason. So either he's gonna use Ashram as the sacrifice,
Or they're gonna come and stop the sacrifice from happening, which is more likely gonna happen.
or the episode ends.
カーディスの復活が迫る中俺は邪神祭壇に向かう命の炎が消えかかるディードを目の前にアシュラムが最後の戦いを挑んできたディード俺は君を死なせはしない
Ashram.
次回ロードス当選記最終話灼熱のロードスロードスの平和は俺が守る
I mean, fair, now that actually has context. Although they said as Deedlet's life fades from her eyes, and then I won't let Deedlet die. You just said her life is fading from her eyes, implying death.
Yeah, she's more than halfway there at this point.
Well, not my favorite kind of episode. The unresolved episode.
Yeah, I mean, but we kind of knew it was gonna happen.
Well, I mean, we
You know.
did. We do because we said so. We said that that's how you would finish a campaign, by defeating the resurrection of a god. I guess they didn't have like a wrap-up episode, by which I mean of the campaign, not of the show.
Like a little prologue or something. Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
I
that's
mean,
fair.
no, at the end of a campaign, some campaigns I've
Epilogue,
played
yeah.
in, and then like,
Yeah.
well, what does your character do after that? And I usually say, die. Well, the only time I can remember that actually being a thing, like, what does your character do after that, where I haven't just like tried running the same character again in another campaign. You know, obviously not all the XP and stuff, but just
Mm.
you know, it's been a socialite type of character. You know, the trickster. I've got all the social skills kind of person. So it's like, of course, what happens to that character after the campaign's over? Slept with a guy's wife, got into a fight and died, probably.
It was a long way to get down there, and everybody else seems to be disappearing.
Well, again, the guys around Wagner just fucking teleport.
Yeah, at least they teleported.
Ashram
But
just appears out of
Ashram-
nowhere.
He just came out of nowhere.
But
and
then
they were
again, that
pretty-
could be Carla. Because remember, Carla was down there at the bottom of the pit with after the dragon thing.
Mm.
So he could have just been teleported to here by Carla, who's also watching over everything that's happening, talking to Wart. So, not a huge problem there. Again, my huge problem is the thing I keep bringing up throughout the episode, which is that Slain has a slow fall spell. They could have just jumped in.
Yeah.
Well, because remember in episode 1, Wood is like knocked off of a cliff face or something, and one shouts Wood, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about because I don't know the character yet. Because I think I had a note back then that maybe Wood was the magic spell word or something, but they could keep putting a bubble, and he slow falls down to the ground. Use that. Just jump down the hole. Don't fight anything. Just go all the way down.
Mm. And it could have maybe the fact that they didn't know. No, that wouldn't make sense either.
They didn't.
I'm thinking maybe they went inside. They didn't know exactly where they went. Maybe, I don't know how big this castle is or this fortress is, and maybe they're not at the part where he actually descended.
I mean, it's a giant hole in the floor. If you're in a D&D party, it's step 1. Okay, take a torch, light the torch, drop it down the hole, watch it. It fades into the darkness. All right. Slow fall. Cast up, 4th level, target whole party. We jump in. You've got a grappling hook, right? Okay, well, if it seems like we're going to go somewhere we can't come back from, grapple hook and we'll swing into something.
When they got into the building, though, did they go? I mean, as soon as they go in, the hole's there, or do they have to get
it's right
the
there.
hole?
We've seen this place. It's the long stairway up the entrance of the building.
Mm-hmm.
You go right inside. Like, this is episode 2 stuff. You go right inside, and that's the throne room area, and that's where this whole thing comes down. So they would have walked in, giant hole in the floor.
Yeah. Yep. I guess it wouldn't be episode 13 if they did that.
I mean, there still would be an episode 13. I would say the element of the slow fall would be the element that keeps them from getting there at the same point. It's a slow fall. They would be moving about the same speed Wagner did, and it took him half the episode to get down there.
Well, I guess we needed to have this face-off between Ashram and Ragnar before they got there, because now we understand that Parn is going to be fighting Ashram. So I'm assuming he's going to fight him after Ashram defeats Ragnar.
I mean, what face-off? Ashram shows up, says some things.
That's what he said. So let's see what yeah, I mean, going by what they're saying, maybe that's what they wanted.
That doesn't mean that nothing happened. Ashram says some things. Wagner says, "Oh, you was taking the witch's side," and then suddenly it's overwhelming force to the point that all Ashram does is tilts the sword forwards, and that's it. And then a conversation about you can't handle the powers of God. I don't have to handle the powers of God with the powers of a god. What?
Yeah.
I'd say come back to Earth, Wagner, but we're 7,000 feet below it.
Very far.
Final thoughts?
Looking forward to see how it wraps up.
All right. Well, all that said, then, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Ray. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?